What is going on, guys? It's been a while since I've been in the Cohiba Bay region. Recently just moved into a new house, been getting settled in, but I gotta say, it's great to be back. If it wasn't for the YouTube uploads, I probably wouldn't even remember what we were up to last time. And honestly, even with the uploads, I still kind of feel like I lost touch with what's going on in the region and where to go next. So that's what this episode will be focused on. Kind of just flying around the map and figuring out what direction we want to take next. Alright, so I found the first project I want to tackle. This area of St. Alexander has always kind of bothered me. Not necessarily because of the way it looks, but because of how it's boxed in due to the marshy wetlands and the interchange. I want to do a major overhaul here that allows for the city to branch out, but also lays some major infrastructure that will influence how the rest of the peninsula starts to develop. I got started by deleting the sections of highway, then cleared out the trees, and filled in parts of the wetland to make room for a future road. It became clear pretty quickly how important that section was for traffic flow. Next, I dragged out a dirt road that's going to end up connecting to our state highway, which leads north all the way to the map's outside connections. I started thinking next how to configure this new interchange. In the previous version, the highway led from downtown and merged into the bridge that crosses the bay. But I want to add a new connection that takes the highway straight from downtown and connects up to our state highway, which will eventually become the main roadway for this side of the region. It took a few hours, but I finally got the basic structure of the interchange completed. I like what we did here. We sort of took the original design and just modified it to add some new connections. It's a bit messy, sure, but have you seen some of the interchanges in St. Pete? With the interchange completed, I want to spend a bit of time working on the area around it. Some of you might recognize this section of town and realize it looks a little bit different since the last time you saw it. That's because it is. Off camera, I completely redid this area to make it look more realistic and match the town's vibe a bit more. I thought I recorded this build, but I couldn't find the footage, so I'll just show you what's new. First thing I did was redo the grid and replace all the zone buildings with ploppables that match the architectural style of the city a bit better. I added some low density housing, and along the street, I added a variety of uses. We got a small office building, an elementary school, a public pool, some light commercial, and an apartment complex. On the other side of the street, I demolished the mansions that were lining the avenue and replaced them with some nice apartments. The buildings are actually from the Eastern European pack, but I changed the colors and I think they actually fit the Florida look pretty nicely. Around the bridge, I expanded the wetland area to make up for all the wetlands we destroyed during our interchange project. Sorry for not getting the footage for this build, but no worries, there's plenty left to tackle for the rest of the episode. Like the area directly surrounding our new interchange. For this road that goes underneath, I thought it'd be cool to add a custom sloped retaining wall between the avenue and the overpass. These sloped retaining walls that lead up to elevated roadways, it's something I see often in real life, so I'm doing something similar here to add a touch of extra realism. Didn't take me too long, and in the end, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. final touch I want to make to the interchange itself is a bit of beautification. Not beautification in the sense that we'll be making it look like a botanical garden. By beautification, I mean we'll be adding some realistic tree placement, and also doing some de-beautification by roughening up some of the grass and simulating what years of wear and tear might look like. Before wrapping up this whole interchange project, I wanted to fill in the rest of this area. I started by zoning in some random light industrial, then continued with the compact but low density style residential we've started to get accustomed to in St. Alexander. I'm pretty happy with this overhaul, and I think we made a lot of little changes that add up to a lot of improvement. St. Alexander is no longer cut off from the interchange, and I think the custom retaining wall we added was a nice touch for how little time it took. I'm also a big fan of the way the mangroves branch out now. I think it looks a little more natural, and the channel we created next to our wealthy neighborhoods looks a lot better than having nothing but water between houses and the bridge. Finally, I think the interchange is a massive improvement and really helps to lay the groundwork for this area's future expansion. I feel like the past 2 or 3 episodes have been centered around St. Alexander, so I think it's time to take a little break and head over to the city of Cohiba, where I have plans for a project that's probably a bit overdue. With a population of over 18,000, I think it's time to build our first institution of higher education in the region. Now, there's a lot of real-life colleges in the Tampa Bay area we could base our inspiration off of. The University of South Florida is the largest college by far, and you also have Hillsborough Community College and St. Petersburg College. But I'm actually going to be taking inspiration from one of the smaller colleges in the Tampa Bay area, the University of Tampa. U of Tampa is located in prime territory, right next to downtown Tampa, across from the Hillsborough River. The main administrative building you see here was built in 1891. It was a hotel only for the elites of the late 19th century and early 20th century. I could probably go on a lot longer about the history of this building, but that's not why you're here. You'd be watching some AI narrated slideshow of old photos if you're here to learn about history. So let's get into the build. For the campus's actual design, I wanted it to feel small and compact. My goal at first was to focus on this small square here, but you'll see soon that things got a little bit bigger than that. I started by clearing out this area of land, removing buildings, and even doing some rerouting of roads to make room for the main university building. the main building, I decided to go with this vanilla college asset that came with the base game. It's a nice looking building, and I really like the historic feel you get with it. Out of all the college and university assets available, this was the best fit for the project. And I don't think it's hard to imagine that this building could have served as a luxurious hotel during the Gilded Age. Once placed, I deleted all the sub elements that came with the building, and after clearing things out, I was sort of able to sculpt the area around it. I added some paths, a few parking lots, and started placing buildings that would all sort of serve as contributing to the college's ecosystem. I came up with this preliminary campus design before going all in on the detailing. In all, we added a few assets that are higher education related, and a few that aren't. I added the library extension of the base university asset, and also placed a community college from the modern architecture pack, which would give the campus and our city full coverage of both levels of higher education. Then I placed a soccer field, a modern high school, and some random medium density and low rent housing apartments to emulate the student housing that we'd have on campus. A lot of these buildings are from different asset packs and don't even serve a purpose to the university, but I think they fit nicely enough together that in the end, we'll be able to create the appearance that all of these buildings are one cohesive college campus. Let's get into the detail work. amazing what some well-placed trees can do to an area to liven it up a bit. I actually didn't go as hard with the detailing as I thought I was going to. I did some light detail work here and there, but after placing down some trees, I felt like less was more, and focusing on green spaces and walkability was the best way to create that lifelike college atmosphere. With the University of Cohiba founded, it's time we started thinking ahead and planning an expansion outward. But unfortunately, this will need to wait until the next episode, for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that I think an expansion like this should have its own dedicated episode. Second is that I just haven't had as much time to work on videos, as you can probably tell since it's been a few months since my last upload. Given how long it's been, I think that wrapping up the video here is the right call. That said, I already do have a nice chunk of footage for the next video, so I'm looking forward to putting that video together and sharing some of the progress with y'all. And on another note, we hit 10 episodes of the series, which is a pretty nice milestone to hit. So stick around to the end for some extended cinematics to track the progress we've made since starting the region. But with that, I'll end it here. Thank you all so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.